Disclaimer, I am not an historian, just a dude having fun. Please take everything with a grain of salt. Obviously.
Well, I had the idea of doing this because the other day I was wondering why there's a place in Montreal, like a district, a neighborhood called Lachine, which means China. So I started reading about it. Lachine, apparently from the French term China, is often said to have been named in 1667 in mockery of its then owner René-Robert Cavelier de la Salle, who explored the interior of North America trying to find a passage to China. See, that's already silly. When he returned without success, he and his men were derisively named Les Chinois. So, the name was adopted when the parish, I don't know what that means, of Saint-Ange de Lachine was created in 1676, with the form Lachine appearing with the opening of a post office. Wow, it's just a joke that stuck. That's just fucking hilarious. What does parish mean? A parish is a territorial entity in many Christian denominations, constitution a division with a diocese. What is a diocese? Now he's immortalized, yeah. Well, a lot of people apparently in Quebec got their last names. They were changing their names when they were moving from France to Quebec. And they just chose something about like their physical appearance or their personality. It's a Catholic thing, yeah. An alternative etymology attributes the name to the famous French explorer Samuel de Champlain, who also hoped to find a passage from the St. Lawrence River to China. According to this version, in 1618, Champlain proposed that a customs house would tax the trade goods from China passing this point, hence the name Lachine. Now, let's take a look at where they're coming from. The St. Lawrence River is where people came in from the first world to travel within the continent. And they thought that it would go across the whole of Canada. Because if you follow it, you get to the Great Lakes. And they thought that they could go through the entirety of Canada and then end up in China by like canoe. Mohawk warriors raided the small village and burned it to the ground in retaliation for the ravaging of the Seneca lands, which was accursed, having been committed by the governor of New France, the Marquis de Denonville. The Lachine massacre left 80 dead. Like, already, like, fucking so violent. Okay. We're gonna go and we're gonna read a bit more about this guy, René-Robert Cavelier, Sieur de la Salle. He was born in Normandy. Oh shit! Oh no, okay. He was born, I thought he was born like me on March 19. He was dead on March 19. He's dead at 43. He died in Texas. Oh, wait, wow, they have his signature. He's the real hero, yeah, and they made fun of him forever. René-Robert Cavelier, Sieur de la Salle, was a 17th century French explorer and fur trader in North America. We call them les coureurs des bois in French. In Quebec, the runners of the woods, the wood runners. He explored the Great Lakes region of the United States and Canada, the Mississippi River, and the Gulf of Mexico. No passports back then, right? He is best known for an early 1682 expedition in which he canoed the lower Mississippi River from the mouth of the Illinois River to the Gulf of Mexico. I don't know how big that is. Let's go take a quick look. So that is quite the distance. 1,124 miles. Wow. On like a 1682 diet. There, on April 9, 1682, he claimed the Mississippi River basin for France after giving it the name La Louisiane. Wow, so he fucking created Louisiana, what? One source states that he acquired for France the most fertile half of the North American continent. La Salle is sometimes... we have another town called La Salle in Montreal. Another neighborhood. La Salle is sometimes credited with being the first European to traverse the Ohio River, and sometimes the Mississippi as well. Although Joliet and Marquette preceded him on the upper Mississippi in the journey of 1673-74, La Salle extended exploration and France's claims all the way to the river's mouth, while the existing historical evidence does not indicate that La Salle ever reached the Ohio Allegheny Valley. Early life. Robert Cavalier was born, blah blah blah, comfortable, well-off family in Rouen. His parents were Jean Cavalier. Required to reject his father's legacy when he joined the Jesuits. Les Jésuites. We're gonna look at the father's legacy later. La Salle was nearly destitute when he traveled as a prospective colonist to North America. That's why most French people left France. He sailed for New France in the spring of 1666. That's a good number. His brother Jean had moved there the year before. At La Salle's request on March 27th, after he was in Canada, he was released from the Society of Jesus after citing moral weaknesses. The sins, the temptations of the flesh. Although he left the order, never took final vows in it, and later became hostile to it, historians have sometimes described him incorrectly as a priest or a leader. La Salle was granted a seigneurie, a lordship, on land at the western end of the island of Montreal, which became known as Lachine. La Salle immediately began to issue land grants, set up a village, and learned the languages of the native people, several tribes of Iroquois in this area. That's his coat of arms. A greyhound on a black field with the North Star over him. He was probably a real heroic dude, but is now only remembered for his China failure. 2 expeditions, Great Lake Forts, Mississippi expedition, personal life. Legacy, let's see his legacy. In addition to the forts, which also served as authorized agencies for the extensive fur trade, La Salle's visits to Illinois and other natives cemented the French policy of alliance with natives in the common causes of containing both Iroquois influence and Anglo-American colonization. So he first learned Iroquois language and then was fighting against them. He also gave the name Louisiana to the interior North American territory he claimed for France, which lives on in the name of a U.S. state. We learned today. The Encyclopedia Britannica provides the summary of La Salle's achievements. His claim of second language. His claim of Louisiana for France, though but a vain boast at the time, pointed the way to the French colonial empire that was eventually built by other men. Pierre Berton wrote, "No other man had crammed so much adventure, so much excitement, so many triumphs, and so many heartbreaks into a single career. Though he died at the hands of some of his quarreling followers in the mud of reeds of the Gulf of Mexico lowlands, wow, he was essentially a man of the lakes of Ontario and Erie, Huron and Michigan." So there are some statues of him. Where's his death? Personal life. On March 19, 1687, La Salle was slain by Pierre Duhaut during an ambush while talking to Duhaut's decoy, Jean l'Archevêque. They were 6 leagues from the westernmost village of the Hasinai Indians. One source states that Duhaut was a disenchanted follower. Duhaut was shot and killed by James Himes to avenge La Salle. Over the following week, others were killed. Confusion followed as to who killed whom. This should be a movie. The colony lasted only until 1688, when Karankawa-speaking natives killed the 20 remaining adults and took 5 children as captives. Tonti sent out search missions in 1689 when he learned of the colonizers' fate, but failed to find survivors. Wow! Wow. Jesus Christ. Ouais, cavalier de la salle. Okay, interesting. That was weird. That was interesting.